Well, speaking of this, let's move on to some topics. The first topic we have is, can a game be too balanced? And what I mean by that is, some people think, no, I don't want a game too balanced because then all you're going to be doing is the same thing every turn. I don't mean I want the game to be boring. Balanced is a balance in power. If I do something, it should be equal in power to what you can do, but you also want to give a little bit of variability to that. So for instance, with Orleans, which is the reason we come into this topic, I felt like Orleans might be borderline too balanced. Now, this is only coming from a couple of plays, but I keep track of all our games and, scores and stuff, and our scores are always hitting that 120 range.
Right.
And it's like with game where every turn you're getting between 1 and 5 points for anything, and you're in the 120 range, are you really, like, how balanced? I mean, that's pretty good balance, but there should be a range. I don't know. Talking about balance, though, let me just put it in concept. If you got like a risk versus reward type of mechanism, right? So if you're going to get 5 points for something, then I should be able to do something else that might give me 3 to 8, but be random. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that would still be considered balanced because average is 5, but you could possibly get more. You could possibly get less, but you're taking luck into the account. And I just did something that straight gave me points. So games like chess, right? I mean, it's a balanced game, but the reason it's balanced, like not all the pieces are balanced.
No.
A pawn is terrible. Queen is awesome. If the game allowed you to pick the people that you can play with, right? Like a miniature game. If it allowed you to pick all your pieces, why wouldn't I pick all queens?
Right.
I actually bring this up though because somebody on one of my review videos said something about balance, and he brought it up. I was like, yeah, but and I brought up some of the stuff I already said, so I'm not gonna say it again. But what do you think? Can a game be too balanced?
Can it? I don't know. I think the only time I consider a game to be too balanced is when and not trying to diss or escalate someone's playing ability, but if you can get someone, some people just aren't very good at playing board games. A balance problem is probably when you take someone that's not very good and they can play it with someone that is very good and knows all the optimal moves, and it still comes out to be about the same.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's obvious that two people at the same skill level should be doing very well together, right? Against each other or whatever. Or if you play a board game with 4 people and everybody is doing their optimal moves and stuff. But you're right. If you take somebody who's less experienced and they can just almost come up really close to your score or beat you and you're within 2 points. And I'm not talking about a game that, like, at the end, it's whoever hits 10 first and somebody had 9 and you hit 10.
Right.
I'm talking about a game that when you're scoring, like 5 tribes, when you're scoring in the hundreds of points and everything you do is a lower value, like 1 to 5, 1 to 10 kind of things on a turn, then it really just comes down to what's your point average for turn, and that's your goal. Like, does that... 5 Tribe does it really well. I'm not saying anything bad about that.
Yeah.
But Orleans, I think, does... And maybe it's because we're too close to skill level. I don't know. But, I mean, the fact that was only you've only played it once, and I've only played it twice, and we're all coming in the 120 range, that's crazy. Now, that sounds real bad because we played it 2 times, but...
There's probably someone listening going, you only get 120.
Yeah. Wait until you hit 200.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And even the people who are less skilled that were playing it with us, I mean, they were up there too, like right close to us. So.
Right. Well, I think that also goes into just on that specific game because you can go different routes on it. And maybe...
I guess there's really not a whole lot people can do against you to stop you from getting those points.
It is very solitarish. You are kind of just, other than the interaction you have on turn order on taking the people, and maybe you got to worry about if your piece is gone that you can complete or something.
Which only really happens later in the game.
Right.
Well, let's take Orleans out of it. Let's not pick on it because it's an amazing game.
Yes.
Like, I mean, this just prompted the question. Obviously, we play that a whole bunch more times. Maybe our attitudes will change completely. It was really just a precursor to the question. And so taking other games like a card game, right? what would be considered too balanced for a card game? I mean, I think the thing that balances out card games as far as the cards are the cost of the cards.
Yes.
Because if you didn't have a cost, like that Epic card game, have you played that?
No, you've shown it to me though.
Epic, everything's either 0 or 1. The problem is the cards
do so much different stuff.
Yeah, like it's not like if I'm doing 5 damage, yours might do 15 damage and have like a trample ability or whatever and go through, and I'm like, I don't understand the balancing versus cost. And that's really what I'm talking about. I guess a game can be balanced and very fun, but the things within the game need to be a certain power level. Right.
Okay.
I don't like. Can a game be too balanced? Probably, because if like every turn you score 5 points and that's like your only option, there's really not a lot of variety.
Right.
But that's why I was given the example earlier when that's the risk versus reward. Because if you can score 5 points every turn, but somebody else can go 3 to 8, they might have to take that risk in order to get more points than you. So, can I think a game can be too balanced? Yeah, but it's usually because of bad design, or not bad design, but not very innovative design. They're not trying to go outside the box and give their players the ability to jump ahead of somebody with all these different mechanisms or risk versus reward style gameplay. So,
yeah, could be.
Yep, it'd be interesting to hear everybody else's thoughts.